Let's go across to Mr. Ravi Kumar, who's the President of Business Development. Mr. Ravi Kumar, good afternoon and thank you for joining us. Can you first just take us through the margin performance this time around? What led to that 21% margin that you reported?
Yeah, it was very nice that you led with that question. It is, we're very happy to report this 21.1% EBITDA number, which is certainly industry leading, and the main story is the mix has been quite good for us. The exports have come in at almost 50% of the numbers have coming from overseas markets, and we have certainly had a good foreign exchange realization to back it up. The commercial vehicles domestic has also done well, and the high-end Pulsars and KTMs have done well. The spares business has done well. So it's almost like I'm repeating myself from the last quarter. A big chunk of about 80% plus high margin contributing segments of our business have continued to do very well, and that has led to the margin performance there.
Okay.
21.1%, and going forwards, I think we should continue to maintain this industry-leading 20% plus type of an EBITDA.
Fair enough. You said that export realizations have aided the margins this time around. What are the hedges on the currency for next year, Mr. Ravi Kumar? How much is hedged and at what rate?
We have done almost about 2/3 of our next year's exports are hedged, but I'm not allowed to talk about the future hedge rates, otherwise it will become too easy for you and for the analysts. So let us go cross quarter by quarter. But I think we have done a good job in the hedging as far as next year is concerned.
All right. Can you just take us through what the export potential is? Because, you know, when the last time we spoke to the company, you did indicate that you're getting into 13 new markets. You have a whole host of new launches, etc. Just tell us, what kind of export volume growth do you foresee, say, in the first half of the new fiscal?
Let me just first talk about Q4. I think we should continue the current run rate, and we should be targeting an export number of about north of 500,000. But that said, you know how soft the oil is, crude is, and there are a lot of markets out there which are important for us, which are oil producing and exporting countries like Colombia or Nigeria and Venezuela and things like that. And secondly, we have some sort of a political situation there in Bangladesh, but we have been sort of exporting to 50 countries, and we find that something or the other is good in many countries.
No, actually, I wanted to just sure, sorry to interrupt you. I wanted to ask you about, you know, these oil-dependent economies and also economies like Nigeria, where we've seen a big fall in their currency. Are you planning to cut prices in any of these markets, and will that have any bearing on your margins going ahead?
Right now we'll play it by the ear. We'll have to watch the situation because it's a very dynamic situation. Till now, not much of a price action was called for, and we hope that it'll, at least in the next quarter, it'll run like this. And beyond that, honestly, we have to play by the ear.
Okay. So given the strong traction that you've seen in export, do you still maintain your export guidance of 18 to 20% for FY15? And will FY16 be better in terms of an export performance compared to this year?
I think the headroom for growth in exports is certainly there, and we should continue to clock at the rates that you have mentioned as far as exports is concerned. But again, you know, there are larger factors which are moving, and we have to be watchful. A good thing that we will be doing is, by addition of new markets and by the markets which have been added in the recent past maturing, that will keep adding to the kitty. And the second thing is the motorcycle and the commercial vehicle being a personal transport of a very sort of a relatively low value item, maybe they are a bit inelastic to the price movements and things like that. So I think we may be to some extent protected there. But we are very hopeful that the export story, there is a lot of headroom and will continue to grow.
Okay, just one more question on the export realization. What exactly was the dollar INR realization that you saw this time around, and how much do you think realizations could go up by in Q4?
It was north of 62 in Q4. Again, it should be north of 62.
All right. Just coming to the domestic market now, Mr. Ravi Kumar, you have a plan to launch the new Platina in Q4 of FY15. I just want to understand how much can the new Platina help you improve your market share in the economy segment, because there are so many players who are doing extremely well in this segment, the likes of Splendor, the Dream Neo, etc. What's the plan as far as the new launch is concerned?
Yeah, I think, see, let me just give a flavor of the full domestic market segments. Like you said, Platina has been a very strong brand at the bottom of the pyramid, and at the top of the pyramid, the Pulsars and Discovers have been doing well. Platina is very well entrenched in a lot of markets, and it's a very good brand. Now, the electric start version of Platina has already gone into production and has reached the markets, and it is quite well received in the markets where it has been tested and seen, and we are quite hopeful that Platina will add to the kitty. And going forward, almost in month after month, there will be launches in the next 5-6 months. After Platina, we are going into one more, I would almost call a wild card, 100cc entry being played. That new model also will, I think, add to our 100cc volumes. To be very frank with you, this 100cc area has been the trouble spot for us, but I think with the new Platina and the new model that will be launched in this quarter itself, by March, I think we should see some significant improvement in the market share. Just going to the domestic market shares, we have already seen the bottom of it. It has bottomed out. In this quarter, Q3 itself, there has been a 50 bips type of an improvement in the market share, and that is at the billing level. And if you look at December, we have sort of billed whatever we have retailed. In fact, we have destocked a bit. But so, in fact, if I look at the retail market share, my market share in December is about 18% plus. So, I think by March, we should certainly add at least maybe close to 20 type of a market share, 20% type of a market share should be there in domestic. Other sectors are continuing to do well, Pulsars, KTMs, Platina, and the Discover 150 is well entrenching itself,
right.
And more of the higher price version on Discover is doing its role there. So I think in the next 6 months, I think you'll see a very different picture from us as far as domestic is concerned.
Mr. Ravi Kumar, I just had one question. We were flashing some news about a fire at the R&D plant for Bajaj Auto some time back. Can you just take us through what the news is, how significant the fire is?
It's a new building that was there, and the fire has already been put out, and I have to get the full details, but it has already been put out, and I think because it was a new building that was getting constructed, obviously people were, it was not an occupied building, so I think there was, that the good story is that has already been put out already.
All right, just one final question then before we let you go, sir. For your total out of your total revenues, 49% comes from exports now. Since you did mention that the product mix is improving, in the next 1 year, how much of the total revenues you think could come from exports? Will the contribution rise further?
I think next year we will see a very good uptick in the domestic. So because of that, maybe 50% plus type of a growth in share in exports is a good thing to target for in the next year. But that said, as I told you, there's a lot of headroom in export growth, and we'll continue to do well in exports.
Okay, Mr. Ravi Kumar, we'll leave it at that. Thanks so much for joining in. Once again, congratulations on a good set of earnings and wish you good luck for the coming few quarters.